Hello everyone, today in this video I'll be discussing how to remember the Lex and Yacc programs, mainly 1, 2 and 6. Why I'm making these videos because 1, 2 and 6 are related, right? Because in 1 also we have two parts, which is A and B, and same goes for 6, we have parts A and B. And in 2 we have the both the Lex programs and the Yacc program, right? Both the parts are there. So in each of these part, in A and B, in A just we have the Lex program here, in here also we have just the Lex program, but in the B part we have further Lex program, Yacc program, and here also Lex program, Yacc program. So it becomes very difficult to keep track of what the program is and how to remember that. So to get started with remembering these things, first thing you have to remember is that the format of it. Okay, so in the format there are three things. This is the first thing, and this is the second thing, and the third thing is the int main. Okay, for all of the programs you have to keep this in mind. This is the standard format. Okay. What is this called? This is called the declaration section, and this is called the rules section, and this is the int main thing, that functions and all. Okay, so this is the first thing which you need to remember. Okay, note it down somewhere. The second thing what you need to remember is the first 1a and 6a are related to each other. Okay, both are the Lex programs. All the programs which are how many, 1, 2 and 6 are there, right? In 1, 2 and 6 we have two parts here and two parts here, and 2 is also having two parts. Okay, and here what we have, further two parts, and here also further two parts we have. So the whole the number of all the programs, those are divided into two parts. The first part is 1a and 6a, that is first group. All the remaining are in the second group, because these three are related, these two are related as the this one and this one. So we'll be first discussing 1a and 6a. So in 1a and 6a, the format you need to remember is this one, as same for the other formats. This is the declaration section, this is the rule section, and this is the int main part. Okay, so what do we write here, that we'll be discussing later, but here you have to remember that 1a and 6a, they both are Lex programs. So in this part what you have to write is the header files and the global variables. Okay, header files and the variables you got to write. So in all the programs you have to write the two header files, even if they are present or not, don't worry about that. Just make sure you include stdio.h and stdlib.h in the declaration part of all the programs. All 1, 2 and 6, all the subcategories you have to include. First you have to write this one and write this one for sure. Okay, then we'll think, it depends on the program if the variables are to be included or not. By reading the question you will be able to understand if to write the variables or not. That we'll be discussing later. Okay, so that's the first point. This format you have to remember, and you have to include these two header files in all the programs. Okay, so you have started writing from here. It means take for example any program. Okay, that you have started writing and you have written two header files. Then what you have to do, then you have to think if you have to write the variables or not. Okay, so in some programs there are variables, some they are not variables, so keep it as optional. Okay, we can't write variables for all. Okay, so that's the declaration part. Mainly you have these two things in the first part. This is known as the first part of the program. The second part is the remaining programs that I will be discussing later, but this goes for all the programs. Okay, all the programs in the categories 1, 2 and 6, you have to write these two things in the declaration part. Understood this much? Then we'll move forward. Then moving on, we have the rule section. In rule section, mainly what we'll do is we'll be writing the patterns. Patterns means regular expressions, rules means regular expression. Keep this in mind. Rules means what? Regular expressions. Rules means the patterns or the regular expressions which we are trying to fetch. This is the Lex program, right? What does the Lex program do? Lex will identify the tokens. Identify, note this keyword, identify. Identify means we have to know which things we have to identify. For that we are defining the regular expression to identify the things that we are writing here. Okay, that's the rule section. And coming to the int main, these two things you have to surely write, which is int yy wrap. For the Lex programs, this is compulsorily. Okay, Lex programs for the first part, this is the first part. All what I'm telling is for the first part only. Okay, so to recap what all I told about the first part, remember these things, 1, 2 and 6 programs are there. Divide these programs into different parts, a part, b part, a part, b part. In the b part also we have two programs, like Yacc and Lex programs, 1a, 6a. Make this as the part 1, and the remaining programs will be in part 2, namely these two programs and second program which also has two categories, and this also has means two parts, which is 6bl and 6by. Okay, so these three programs come here and the rest two programs come in the first part. So in the first part, first thing what you have to do is hash include stdioh and stdlib.h in the declaration section. In the rule section we'll be writing the patterns, and in the int main, after the int main, make sure you write yy wrap. For sure you have to write yy wrap. Okay, these are the key points you have to remember. Now we will be discussing what is in the second part. In second part, what we have is these programs are there. Okay, these are divided into three categories. This is 1b part, this is 2, and this is 6b part. Here we have two means programs. Here also we have two programs. Here we have two programs. Which are the two programs? .l and .y. Lex program and Yacc program. Lex program and Yacc program. Here also Lex program and Yacc program. Okay. Now what we are going to do is, first we will be writing the Lex programs. Okay. First we will be focusing on Lex programs. In Lex programs of the second part, I'll repeat, Lex programs of the second part, namely 1b.l, 2.l and 6b.l. Here what you have to do is, you have to write the same format. The same format which goes for all the programs, the same you will be writing, except that you will be just removing the int main and the int yy wrap. This you will not be writing in the second part. Okay. Write the same thing, just remove the last thing for the Lex programs of part 2. Just this much will be there. Okay. Yeah, this much only will be there. That you have to write for Lex programs of part 2. Then what we have is, you have to include the header files here. Like how I told, include these two files. Even if it is not there, make sure you include these two files in all these programs. Okay, in the declaration part of all these programs, make sure you include studio.h and stdlib.h. And along with that, since we are combining it with one Yacc program, each of these Lex programs in the part 2, each of these Lex programs is combined with what? Yacc programs. So what we have to do is, we have to include y.tab.h in all of these declaration sections, along with studio and stdlib, both these header files, and include #y.tab.h. That also we have to include in the Lex programs of part 2. Okay. And you have to also include extern yy val. Okay, extern yval val. Okay, I'll show you the program, you can see the correct spelling. Extern yval dot val should also be included here, 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 in all the declaration sections. Okay, except this one. Okay, except the two you have to include here and here, extern yval dot val, but y.tab.h will be included in all. To wrap up, what I told is, you have to write the same format, remove the last thing which is int main from each of these. After that, you will be writing the declaration section, #include studio.h, #include stdlib.h, and you will be writing including y.tab.h, because it's all connected with the Yacc programs as well. And after that, you will be writing extern yval val. Okay, except for the second one. That's all. That's all what is there in the Lex programs of the part 2. Also, coming to the Yacc programs of part 2, here you will be writing the same thing, as you have the format here, along with the int main, everything you will be writing here. Okay, that's the Yacc program. The same thing you'll be writing, and in the header sections also you'll be writing the same thing, #include stdio.h and #include stdlib.h. Along with that, what you'll be writing is the variables which will be used, same as the previous one. Okay, if some variables are there, that will be including here. Okay, that's second thing. And the third thing is that, after writing the int main, since you are writing the Yacc program, you have to also include yyrr along with yy wrap. You have to also include yyrr along with yy wrap, except for the second one. In the second one, you will not write yy wrap, only yyrr. But yyrr will be there for all Yacc programs, just as how yy wrap was there for all Lex programs of part 1. Do you see here? Yy wrap was there for Lex programs of part 1, and for Yacc programs of part 2, you'll be having the yyrr as well. And except for the second one, you will have yy wrap in these two as well. That's how you write. And one more key point is that, here you will be using the tokens as well. Okay, so for each of these Yacc program, you will be writing token also. So we'll be discussing each one by one. Okay, so let's get started from these two. What are the similarities? 1a.l and 6a.l. Okay, see, have a look here. This is the 1a program, which is 1a.l. Okay, what? 1a.l, the first one which I mentioned. Okay, in 1a.l you can find this is divided into three categories. This is the first category, this is the declaration part. Here what we have, #include stdio.h, also write #include stdlib.h. Okay, because writing it does not make any difference, but if you leave it in some programs, it will make a difference. So that's why make sure you write stdlib.h as well. And here we have the variable declarations. Okay, that we'll be discussing later. So this is about the declaration part. And if you come to the sixth program, 6a.l, the same thing goes here as well. I'll show you. See, if you observe carefully, the first is the declaration part. Here we have #include stdio.h, and here is the variable declaration. Okay, that's for the first one. And what else we have? Then coming to the rules part. In the rules part, both for the first program and the sixth program, means 1a.l and 6a.l, for both we have the rule part here, means identifying something. We are going to identify something here, so the regular expression is written here. If I show you for the first one also, the regular expression is written, which is this one. Here also the regular expressions are written. This one regular expression, another regular expression, another one, and another one. So these are the regular expressions written in part, means the second section, which is the rule section, or the regular expression section, identification section, you can call any of them. Okay, that was for the first two sections of lex programs of part 1, which is 1a.l and 6a.l. Okay, then coming to the int main, first let's discuss int main later. Before that, observe carefully, here we have int yy wrap here. The same thing goes for sixth also we have the yy wrap function. Okay, see here we have the yy wrap function written here. Okay, so that's what you have to write in the third part of lex programs of part 1. So the wrap function you have to keep in mind, and then goes the void main function. Okay, this will be discussing later what is in void main function, but I'm just telling you the overall format. Okay, anyways, I've discussed these programs in great detail. If you watch the program videos, then you'll get to know. Okay, so that was about the lex programs, and let's move on to the part 2 programs. In part 2 programs we have 1b.l. Okay, so let's see what is in 1b.l. As I told you, just there are two sections here: declaration section, rule section. In 2b.l also, 2.l also, it is the same thing. Here is the declaration section, here is the rule section, right? Declaration and rule section. And if we discuss the 6b.l also, here also we have the same thing. In 6b dot l, here also is the same thing. Just the two things you have to keep in mind: first is the declaration section, second is the rule section. Okay, so in the lex programs of part 2, there are two sections. Removing the third section, which is int main, that will not be there, and here we'll have the declaration and rule section. And what to write in declaration section, and what to write in rule section. Rule section, again the same thing, the identification of regular expressions in all the three. And here we will be writing hash include studio.h, hash include stdio.h, as well as y.tab.h for all the three. Okay, and for the first and sixth one, excluding the second one, you will be writing extern yy val also for this one and this one. Okay, that's all what I've written in the declaration section, and this one already I discussed what is in the rule section. Okay, so I'll show you the remaining two also, which is 1b.l as well as 2.l. Here also we have stdio, y.tab.h, extern yy val, and here is the regular expression section. And 2.l, you will not 2.l, here we will have hash include y.tab.h. Here write include stdio.h as well, not an issue. And don't write extern yy val. Okay, that you avoid. And here is the rule section. Okay, so that was about the lex programs of part 2. Now we'll be seeing about the Yacc programs of part 2. Okay, what are the similarities in it? The first Yacc program of part 2 is 1b y.txt. So here also the three things are there. Which are the three things? Rule section, declaration section, int main function. Okay, int main function. So here, since it's the Yacc program, what you have to write is along with yy wrap, you have to write yy error also. Both you have to write, unlike the previous one. And here we'll have the declaration section, hash include stdio and hash include stdlib for all the Yacc programs. For all the Yacc programs, these are the two things you have to write: stdio, stdlib. Okay, and you'll have to write the tokens as well. Remember, tokens. And here is the logic part, which is the rules part. Okay, so yeah, that's all what is in 1b.y. Same goes for 2.y as well. If I show you the pattern, you can find out easily. stdio, stdlib, you have to include tokens since it's Yacc program. Here's the rule section. Sorry, rule section is this much only, and here is the main function. And what we have is in yy error and only yy error we have. Okay, we don't have yy wrap. Okay, I'm not able to scroll down for some issue. I guess here some issue is there, but here only yy error is there. Since it's the second one, you have to avoid writing yy wrap. Okay, and here's the void main function. And if we discuss the 6b.y, in 6b.y also the same format: stdio, stdlib, and if you have some variables, you'll add some tokens, rules part, and after that we have the void main function and yy error along with yy wrap. Okay, So that's all for this video, and thank you so much for watching. And if you like this, please make sure you hit and subscribe. That helps me make more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.